Good afternoon, everyone who's joining us today. Today, we are joined by Sabelo Ndlovu, who is a South African technopreneur. He's a software engineer. He's a 12-time hackathon champion, and he's the founder of Virtue Tech. And today will be going through Ready Tech, which is a tool that he uses, which will be helping us to conduct our research faster, smarter, and make it more accessible. Take it away, Sabel.
Oh, thank you very much. Hi, everyone who's in the meeting and those that will join. As stated, my name is Sabelo Ndlovu, and I'll be presenting Ready Data. So I'm just gonna share my screen. Please let me know as soon as you can see my screen. Can I get a confirmation if you guys can see my screen?
We can, but we're seeing multiple screens for now. I believe it's loading.
Okay,
Okay,
please
we're
let
good.
me know. We are good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for coming. So I'm going to present to you guys what we called Ready Data, which is a academic research platform that I have developed. So the whole purpose behind this app is that research is often fragmented. It's time consuming, and usually it's technically difficult for many researchers who don't have any technical skills for them to be able to fulfill their objectives. So the purpose of this app is to combine everything into one to make it much more easier for you to fulfill your research. And then let me turn my video. So it's made to make sure that your research is done much faster and is done much easier in one place. So the first problem that we are solving is data collection. And for data collection, I'm going to use the research session. So usually you need to go and interview different types of people, do surveys, reach out, and all of that is still helpful, but it's time consuming, and people don't often give out their true opinions when you go out to them. However, we have social media where a lot of people are putting their opinions, they are stating their frustrations about all the different kinds of topics. So instead of you going to service and research through service interviews, you can use Ready Data to capture social media data that's already out there that you can use as your raw data for your research. So here we have two things. We have I know exactly what I'm looking for and help me build my research. When you know what you're looking for already, you just come here, you fill in the details, and then you search and it will scrape the data for you. But for me, I don't know what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to log in, and then I'm going to go to help build my research. So help build my research has an AI that is embedded in it that helps you to know what you're looking for. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna name this session unemployment. So we are going to do research with unemployment right now. So what is my research topic? My research topic is in unemployment in South Africa. And then what is my research topic? I want to understand factors that contribute to unemployment. And then what is my research topic? So how does unemployment, uh, what factors contribute to unemployment. So usually we have a research question like this. Because of ready data, you can use this AI suggested questions to be able to phrase your question even much better. So you see, I typed what factors contribute to unemployment, and immediately it stated the different kind of things or research questions that I can use. So I'll go next. What is the keyword that I'm looking for? The keyword that I'm looking for is unemployment. And I don't need any advanced query. I don't want to exclude any word from it. And now I just want data from the past year. I want upvote maximum. I want both comments and I want posts. And I don't want to, so you can choose if you want to choose English, isiZulu, Sesotho. If maybe your research is more specific, I want any language, whether it's Chinese or English, I want it. And here we have a NSFW filter. So NSFW means not fit for work content. So if there's any vulgar, I don't want that. So I'll filter here. I don't want any vulgar. I just want pure text. And then I continue. I'm gonna do broad sampling. I don't want any duplicates in my code. So this is what I'm going to search. So currently the system will search Reddit data, will search Reddit for all of the kind of data that we're looking for, but you can use any other platform that you want. I found out that researchers actually prefer Reddit data because of its structure. So as you can see here, the posts have been scraped that talk about unemployment, and all the comments, top comments are there for all the different kinds of data. But because I was speaking about unemployment, already the AI has told me about other related terms that link to unemployment, like unemployed people, job searching, mental health, and all those kind of stuff. So now I have raw data that I can be able to use for my research. So for that, I'm going to jump up and come to the analysis. So under the analysis, I now want to analyze the data that we just scraped. So I'm going to come here. Today's the 19th. This is what I'm going to analyze. So I'm going to clear the analysis I did first. I want to know what kind of sentiments are there in this data. So I'm going to run the sentiment. So what this does, instead of you working on your own learning model for sentiments, the system has an already embedded machine learning model that does the sentiment analysis. So out of the posts that I have just scraped, I can see that 92% are negative, 8% are neutral, and there's no positive comment about unemployment in that. And these are the posts that were analyzed for this stats. So now I can export this for my sentiment, and then there's a difference between sentiment and analysis and emotion. Sentiment checks if this thing is positive or negative. Emotion checks if this person is sad, angry, or happy. So we didn't get anything from that. Now we're gonna go to our content analysis. In our content analysis, we can see the amount of words scraped out of that, and we can see the topics that this thing already speaks. So from everything that the post has in terms of the post content and the comments, we can see that they are speaking mostly about politics and society, and they're speaking about economics and business. So all the analysis has been done. And we also have key phrases that were used inside of those posts, which is youth unemployment, young people, minimum wage, unemployment rate. So these are some of the key phrases that were used in the comments and some of the key phrases that were used in the posts themselves. So I can export this as a form of analysis. So researchers don't have to struggle with content analysis, emotion, sentiment. It's already there, one button, it's done. And now, one thing that they would like to do is to have a word cloud so that you can see where should you put your focus. So from the things that you have already done, you can see that people has occurred 90 times. So we are building a word cloud of the common words that people use when they speak about unemployment. So we have seen unemployment, we have seen youth, we have seen job, we have seen work, we have seen young, we have seen issue. And this, I now have a word cloud of the common issues that people use. And if I want to then go further and categorize or do clustering, I already have a word cloud that I'm working on, because the system has already analyzed all of the data, and now it's taking the analysis to the word cloud level. And then we have topic clustering. From the data that we just scraped, we can see that the posts are speaking about politics, the posts are speaking about economics. So toxic filtering, here we are checking if there was actually a filtering. Earlier on, you saw me, I enabled the NSFW content filter. Now, based on that, did it actually filter? So here you are just checking from the data that you have, do you have any inappropriate language? Do you have any hate speech? Do you have any harassment? So all of these things are not there. The content that we scrape is 100% clean. Now, based on your research objective or whatever you want to do, you can take all of this analysis and do with them whatever you want to do. So now, another thing that we have is our research hub. So based on that search that we just did for unemployment, we can come here and discover the different kinds of communities that are speaking about this. So if there's a community that is already speaking about this, we can know. So we see here there's a subreddit about way in SA, normal day in SA. So these are the types of communities that are posting about this unemployment stuff. So if it was in SA, if I was to give an example, and this was media, it was gonna show us a Chris Excel is talking about this. It was going to show us SABC is talking about this. It's going to show us ETV is talking about this, and all those kind of stuff. And this is the data set. We only came back with 10 records because we wanted 10 records. Still sentiment. And now we are looking at the engagement. So topics that speak about politics, this is their engagement. Jobs, this is their engagement. Layoffs, this is their engagement. And all of this is analysis that you can provide as in your research, and you can come back, we can see the communities, you can see the trends that are happening here, and you can see comparison. So if you have two data sets, you can compare what they have. And if there's something that I've got from analyzing all this, I can come here and then I can make myself a note to say, please check the communities. And now I add this note, or the AI can take some notes because it has what we know already there. So it's saying that the data set is represented heavily through jobs, politics, and recruiting. So now I have these notes. I know the next thing that I can search, maybe I must check how politics work with unemployment. How does the recruiting work with unemployment? So now I have a basis to go. And methodology, this is where you can choose or have a report of your methodology that was used for this research, right? And then here we have the academic research. So because of time, I won't be able to finish this side, but on part 2, I'm gonna dwell more on this side. So this side, I've already have my research topic, I already have my research data. Now I want to write my paper. Now I want to write my research. So I come here and I say my research topic is unemployment. Now I'm looking for other papers or publications that are out there that talk about unemployment. Actually, I've already gathered data from social media. Now I want to gather data from other stuff that's out there in the internet, which is research papers. So instead of you going to Google Scholar and then going to Semantic Scholar and then going to different platforms, all those platforms are embedded here already. So when you search for the literature that has to do with unemployment, it search Google Scholar, it searches all the other sources for this. So you can see here, I have a cyclical unemployment by Peter Diamond. This is from a preprint, so I can go here and read the original thing that's there, or I can save it to my library. Another one, save it. Another one, save it. So one citation, save it. This is a book chapter, save it. So now I have different kinds of research papers that talk about this topic that I'm interested in. And now I can come to my library without even reading this paper and wasting another 2 days in reading this paper. I'm going to tell Ready Data to summarize this paper for me. So I tell it, can you please summarize this paper so that I even know that is this paper worth me reading. So the purpose of this paper is outlined. The methodology was never outlined, which is the methodology they used here, but these are the key findings from this paper. Okay, established the 1905 Unemployment Workmen Act. I like that. I will keep it. I summarize this paper. So all of the papers that I have saved, I can summarize to see if whether or not they contribute to my research. And if this one I don't like it, they use the mixed proportional hazard methodology. I don't want it, I remove it. And then I can summarize all the other papers and choose the papers that go with me, right? Now, what I can do is I can come here and out of all the papers that I liked and saved, I can ask this system to compare what's the difference. So here, this one was in 2013, 2010. This one, it never had a sample. This one with at least two types of individuals. So because I want to work with something that has samples, I can take these ones off because
Sabelo, quick question.
oh, time. Sorry,
So
guys. Next.
when you get the summary, no, let's just go back to it. So when you get the summary, if it says it has not been sampled yet or summarized yet, are you scraping the summaries from other people's summaries as well, or who hasn't summarized, essentially?
Okay, so the person who isn't summarized is the one.
The entity.
So this paper, yeah. So the paper that is out there already. It doesn't have the summary. So you're speaking in terms of comparison, right?
No,
Here, this one.
when you report that the paper does not have a summary, is the summary referring to an abstract? Or
Yes. Okay, so you see here, we are looking for the sample. So whenever everyone does research, they need to have a sample of something to show my research is based on this and I acted on this sample. I interviewed 5 people and they told me unemployment in South Africa is bad. So you have that as a sample. So these people, their sample is not summarized in the paper. So we can't tell what is the summary that what is the sample that they used for their research. That information is not there in the published paper. So the AI cannot summarize what sample they used. But this one
it's not
in
found in the
2001,
paper.
yeah, so this one in 2001, it can tell us that we have two types of individuals, skilled and unskilled, and they were in a general model of different institutional settings of the unemployment system. So you know that for this paper, they used two individuals, one skilled, one unskilled. and they ask them certain types of question. And this is the main finding, and these are the limitations of the thing. So sometimes here, depending on the paper, it can tell you that the limitations is that this person they didn't focus on. Let me come here first to the research gap. If you want to find the research gap, so here it tells me that based on the four papers that we have analyzed or summarized in our library, we can see here that we don't have any papers that were published in the last 5 years. They are all from 2001, 20, something, nothing recent. So we can tell that there's already a gap because these papers they are based on 2001, 2007, but nothing in the 20s. So as a researcher, I already know the gap in which I can try to close. Two, the population gap, the people that were interviewed here might not be from South Africa. It might be a paper from China or USA. But if I'm working on unemployment in South Africa, how do I know that gap? Already it has analyzed for me. And then we have a theoretical gap also. There's no theory or framework that was used in these papers. So as a researcher, I already know I must close the population gap by at least finding data that deals with South Africa if my paper is all about South Africa. And this is the gap I must close. So those kind of stuff. So that's this for the limitation and the sample. So the sample could have told us that we focused on 100 people in China or focused on 100 young people in Alexandra. Then you know you have a sample. Like this one, they focused on two individuals, one skilled and the other unskilled. I don't know if that answers you. Uh, Cindy, I don't know if that answer is.
It does. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, we do have to remember that we have a part two that's going to help us dive into more data. Sorry, not data, but more academic writing and publication. So I'm looking forward to that. But while we're
Yes.
here, we do have a couple of questions that have come in from other platforms. One of the questions is, can we further filter the search, for instance, to get to data only that's related to politics or from youth? And
Yes.
other question is, do we have the app public for use?
Okay, so the first one where you can filter even more, yes, you can filter even more. So you can exclude stuff, you can find subreddits, and you can choose languages, you can choose the time, and
So
you can
by
also choose the
languages, you mean
topic.
that, sorry to cut you off, Sabet. By languages, you mean the data that I'll get is written in the language that I choose. So the
Yes,
comments
so you
that I'll
can
get.
choose if you want English or Zulu or Setswana. So you can choose the language that you want. We prefer South African languages first because it's a South African app, but
Of
you
course.
can choose if you want tweets that are in Mandarin, you'll get
Uh-huh.
your raw data in Mandarin or French. So yeah, the first answer is you can filter.
Mm.
Is the app public? Yes, the app is public, but it
Oi,
has
oi.
it has limitations. I
Congratulations.
think. Yeah, thank you. On there's a link on the chat that was placed there for people to access the app, so
Yeah,
you can play around with the app, and maybe on part two you can have further more questions
of
from
course.
a user perspective experience, and we can take it from there.
Oh, we'd love that. Please, guys, please do engage with the app. You will also find it on our YouTube channel from our archived webinars. Congratulations, Isabel and Jovo, on your amazing work. Guys, have an amazing further
Thank
day. Till we meet again next week at 12 o'clock. See you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
What I needed to get up.